Hey, how you doing? It is your girl Daisy Chiwako with a Marriage for Real video. Today I'm going to answer the question, have I married the wrong person? Before I go into it, make sure that you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and also hit the bell so that you get a notification every time I go live. I'm often asked, Daisy, have I married the wrong person? Or people would say, I think I've married the wrong person. And I find that to be an interesting question because I always ask myself, is there the right person? Is it a question of the right person or two people becoming right for each other? And notice I use the word becoming because I really do believe that in marriage, we make of it what we want. You could marry somebody who on paper ticks every single box, right, for you, yet not have a good marriage. You could marry someone who on paper is the complete opposite and it looks like it shouldn't work, but actually it does. And I think the difference between those two scenarios is that in one scenario, we may have two people who are not prepared to love, accept, be patient, maybe a bit of tolerating, maybe a bit of adapting to create something that is new and that works for them. On the other hand, you have two people who may be different on so many levels, may bump heads on so many levels, but are willing to work through that and create something that uniquely fits for them, uniquely works for them through love, acceptance, patience, tolerance. So the question of whether you've married the wrong person, what we really need to look at is, how are you managing the marriage, or how are both of you operating within this marriage? Are you both trying to change each other? Are you both focusing on all the areas where you aren't alike and you are bumping heads, as opposed to looking at the areas where actually there's great synergy and looking for the opportunity for synergy? You know, in the Bible, the Lord himself says that in your weakness, I am made strong. And I think that that's a really good blueprint for marriage, where we look at our spouse's weaknesses and we say, okay, they're not great at this, and ideally I would love them to be, but they're not. This is an opportunity for me to be strong in that area, rather than fighting against it and feeling like, oh, they're not the right person. And vice versa, if your spouse does that with you and says, hey, you know, this is something about her that's a little different, but that's okay. I am strong in this area, so I can stand up and rise and cover her. And we create a union where many of the gaps are filled, because we're not one person, we're two with different thoughts and approaches and concepts and the way that we consider things, right? And so actually, that is potentially a great strength. It's not uncommon for somebody to be married and experience a terrible marriage and even be blamed for that marriage and go off, be the same person in another relationship, and it flourishes. Oftentimes, it isn't the person. A lot of the times, it is the management of the marriage. I think that it's important that we get very clear on what it is that we want out of our marriages, and we look at the person that we have and the person that we are and say, how can we work together to create this? Because two people who are on the same team, maybe from different backgrounds, may have different ideas, concepts, the way your mind works, the way you process information may be completely different. You may have different strengths and weaknesses. But as long as you two come together and decide, well, actually, this is the type of marriage that we want, then you're both able to create that. So I would rather you not focus on whether you have the wrong person or the wrong spouse. I'd rather you focus on whether you're creating the right marriage. Now, there are some people who, yes, You may be able to say that you married the wrong person. Maybe you married for the wrong reasons at the wrong time. But for the majority of you, you married somebody who you fell in love with and you did feel that you wanted to build a life with. And so you take the tools that you have, you take the materials that you have, and you make it work. So what I would encourage you to do, if you do have this question of, have I married the wrong person? I would like you to switch your gaze off the person, off your spouse, and focus on the marriage that you want to create. And say, well, actually, between us, do we have the ability to do this? I don't need my spouse to tick every box, but I do need them to commit to building something beautiful with me. Thanks for watching. If you want to work with me on one of my coaching programs and radically transform your marriage, then go ahead and check the link in the description where you can book a free breakthrough call with me. We can talk about your marriage and where it is today, where you want to take it to, and how I can help you do that. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.